it's a great pleasure to be here, I have to tell you. And as you might hear already, I'm not native British, I'm not native American, I'm German. And these days, that's not easy, because if you work in the UK, in London, these guys, they want to kick you out, and the Americans won't let you in. So I was wondering how many circles I have to fly over the Atlantic to finally land here, but I got here, so it's a great pleasure. Now, Bill said I'm the most visionary. I don't know if I am really, but I hope I can inspire some of you. And our former chancellor in Germany, Mr. Schröder, he said and he is a very pragmatic guy, he said, guys, if you have too many visions, go to the doctor. And therefore, in that sense, I also want to point out some pragmatical stuff that you can take away. Hopefully you are getting inspired by some of the stuff that I will go and walk you through. But I'm very passionate about that topic in every company I have worked in the past. Now, I'm in the IT business for almost 30 years now, and whenever I joined a company, I tried from a marketing perspective to drive customer engagement and this topic of customer centricity into the company. And what I observed at every company I worked in the past was when I joined and talked to the executives and I asked them, hey guys, on your web pages, you always draw this rosy picture. We want to be the most customer-centric company in the world. We want to be customer-obsessed. Customers, everything we do. This sounds really great, and it's driven by the marketing machine. But then when you poke into that and you ask simple question like, who wakes up in the morning and thinks customer centricity first? Who has a measurement system across the company that measure every angle of customer engagement and success company-wide? How many of you here in the room have NPS? Raise your finger. Half? How many of you think that NPS really drives customer centricity in a company? Raise your finger. Wow, right? Even those who have NPS don't think that this is a major contributor. But you are not alone. I can tell you in almost every company I have worked, this is exactly the same. NPS is one of these wonderful, simple instruments that, from my perspective, are one of the most misused instruments in our industry. Because if you ask the right people, the right question, with the right incentive, you get the right response, right? And this is what a lot of executives have as an incentive. Even myself, I'm sitting on an incentive to drive NPS up. So guess what you get out of this? Probably not what you really want, a customer-centric DNA. So to understand a bit about what we have done at Mysis over the last 3-4 years, I want to introduce just quickly with 2 slides the company to you, because this brand might not be that well known here in the US, but we are in Europe the 5th largest software organization, round about $1 billion in revenue, and we are serving the banking industry, the financial services industry. I would say 80% what a bank today needs, we can serve with our software. We serve retail banking, corporate banking, the investment side of the house, treasury and capital markets. We are a global company, 20% roundabout here in the Americas, more than half in Europe, and the rest in Asia-Pac. So we are a true global player, and 48 out of the top 50 banks are using our software. So what Nick said before, this kind of strategy, land and expand, is exactly what we are trying to do. Because if you have already the top 48 banks, the next 2 are Chinese banks where we just don't have the presence and the localization. So you can say, we have the market already. We know the guys that we want to sell into. So we can only grow if we expand our business. And because we have probably 25 products and solutions to sell, there's a lot of expansion within each of those accounts. Now, if you put this all together, we are really driving the financial services world of transactions Look at just some amazing stuff. 150 million retail accounts are managed by our software. 5 trillion under assets are managed by our software. And probably between 8 and 10% of the daily trade volume goes through our software. If we would switch off our software and services, probably the financial world would have a major hiccup. So we are at the core of the business. Now, why do I show this? Because you need to understand, and this banking business is a very, very conservative business. They are working on software which is 15 years old, programmed in COBOL and RPG. Most of you might not even know what that programming language is. Has nothing to do with modern software. If you talk about cloud in the space, they think this is, wow, this is really visionary. So the financial industry is 10 years, I would say, back in innovation. And most of the innovation these days are driven more by the fintechs, by the little startups that are coming up and are kind of driving complementary products to this world. But this world is now dominated, like I said, with this land and expand. So if you lose customers in there, you can't recover. If I lose a Wells Fargo or a Deutsche Bank or an HSBC, I can't recover that business. So by default, our business is dominated by making our business with the accounts that we have. We can't afford to lose business. But when I joined the company 4 years ago, this was what I found.